Holocaust survivor and existential humanist psychologist Viktor Frankl, and it embodies our ability to look for meaning during times of immense collective suffering. It is not wishing for something better to manifest without our effort. Rather, it is our ability to stay with the suffering in order to learn its lesson. Waking up to the sobering realities of our ecological crisis and the ways in which our individual and collective narcissism have bred this allows us to embark on a search for not only meaning, but healing. 1. A new understanding of narcissism. When I was a small child, in kindergarten or maybe even in preschool, my mother used to brush my hair each morning after breakfast in our dining room. She would ask me to go upstairs and get my brush, and then she would take the time to make my hair look nice for the day. At some point, I started thinking that she asked me to get the brush instead of getting it herself, because each person only had a finite number of movements in their life, and she did not want to waste hers on getting the brush. I sassily tried telling my mother that she should get the brush herself. Not surprisingly, this did not go over well. Looking back on this moment, I see how foolish I was with thinking so mechanistically. Clearly, this was poor thinking, as physical movement creates a longer life, not a shorter one. Yet, as a small child, I was thinking selfishly of my own well-being and even questioning my mother's care for me. Of course, I didn't hold on to my limited movements idea for very long. In retrospect, I laugh, still with a tinge of shame at how silly my thinking was at that time. Reflecting on my story with the brush, I see it as my first conscious moment of being narcissistic. By that, I mean not just an impulsive self-centeredness like a toddler grabbing for some candy, but a deeper worldview in which the self is preeminent. In that moment, I was testing out what it was like to put my needs above those of others and to view the world as having scarce resources. Protecting my needs was most important and even took precedence over the needs and feelings of my mother, the person who birthed and lovingly took care of me. Flash forward a number of years. As a young teenager, I went to summer stock in New England, which was essentially a theater camp. There were kids ranging from late elementary through high school, and we young folks would put on classic kid productions for the larger community, while also being part of a bigger theater that had adult productions. We would stay at the camp for weeks to months each summer. I remember one of my last summers there. At age 13 or 14, being in my bunkhouse with 6 or 7 other kids, one of them, a girl I'll call Mara, was one of my good friends and an incredibly talented young actor. During one group conversation, Mara shared that she knew that God existed and that he was putting on a huge production for her. She let us know that God orchestrated the entire world for her, and we were all just characters in a play that revolved around her. In fact, when she left a room, we stopped existing, almost like puppets in a show that are only alive if someone maneuvers them. We were all alarmed by Mara's contention. We tried for a long time to convince her that her views were wrong, but nothing we said changed her mind. I don't know if anyone else from that day still holds this memory, but it always sticks with me. It was so frustrating to have someone believe that I was not a real human being with feelings and an identity separate from them. From that moment on, I saw Mara as not only self-centered, but mentally ill. How could